Introduction. Among the 16 personality types of the Myers-Briggs system, the INTJ stands out as a rare and intriguing enigma. Often referred to as the architect or the mastermind, the INTJ personality type represents a unique blend of strategic intellect, visionary thinking, and deep independence. They make up only about 2% of the population, yet their influence on the world is profound. Throughout history, many groundbreaking innovations, revolutions in thought, and transformative visions can be traced to individuals with an INTJ mind. INTJs are often described as the quiet strategists of life, the ones who stand at the edge of the room, observing and analyzing before they act. Their minds work like complex blueprints, always planning 10 steps ahead, while most people are still taking their first. This inner world of the INTJ is both a fortress and a laboratory, a space where imagination meets logic to create powerful outcomes. They are natural visionaries who can see possibilities that others miss, and when they commit to a goal, their determination can move mountains. But this remarkable personality also carries a paradox. INTJs are brilliant yet misunderstood, confident yet private, rational yet vulnerable in ways that few ever see. Their strength lies in their ability to detach from fleeting emotions to make clear, calculated decisions. Yet this very detachment often leaves them struggling to connect in a world that thrives on social bonds and emotional expression. People may see them as distant, aloof, or even intimidating, when in truth, their minds are constantly in motion, calculating, and refining the world around them. To truly understand an INTJ is to step into the mind of a chess master who is playing life's game with a long-term strategy. They are planners, innovators, and often perfectionists who seek meaning and efficiency in everything they do. Yet, beneath their calm, logical exterior lies a deep well of personal values and emotions that few ever witness. When an INTJ allows someone into their inner circle, that bond is profound and enduring because they do not offer trust lightly. This book is your guide to understanding and unlocking the world of the INTJ. Whether you are an INTJ seeking to harness your full potential, someone who lives or works with an INTJ, or a personality enthusiast fascinated by human behavior, this book will take you deep into the mechanisms that drive this rare and powerful personality type. We will explore the strengths that make INTJs natural leaders and innovators, as well as the challenges that can hold them back in relationships, careers, and personal growth. You will learn how INTJs think, why they act the way they do, and how they can turn their visionary ideas into reality while balancing the emotional and social aspects of life. By the end of this journey, you will not only understand the INTJ personality, but also gain insights into how to embrace the unique strengths and overcome the silent struggles that define the life of the architect. Whether you are looking inward for self-mastery or outward for connection, this book will serve as a blueprint to help INTJs thrive in a world that often misunderstands them. Chapter 1. Inside the INTJ Mind. The mind of an INTJ is a world few ever fully witness, a realm where logic and imagination exist in perfect harmony. To the outside world, an INTJ often appears calm, reserved, and almost untouchable. They rarely wear their emotions on their sleeves, and often move through life with a quiet intensity that leaves others curious about what goes on behind their thoughtful eyes. Inside, however, their mind is a bustling laboratory of ideas, a chessboard of strategies, and a sanctuary of deep reflection. At the heart of the INTJ's personality lies a natural ability to see patterns and anticipate outcomes long before they materialize. Their dominant cognitive function, known as introverted intuition, acts as an internal compass that guides their every move. While others are caught up in the noise of daily life, the INTJ is silently connecting dots that most people do not even notice. They can look at a situation, gather subtle cues, and form a clear vision of how events will unfold. This ability often gives them an air of quiet confidence, as if they are always 3 steps ahead of everyone else. Living in an INTJ mind feels like constantly observing the world from a balcony above the crowd. They notice behaviors, inconsistencies, and hidden opportunities that others miss. Their inner world is one of constant analysis, weighing possibilities and running mental simulations. Decisions are rarely impulsive. Every choice is calculated with precision, and every move is part of a larger plan. This is why INTJs are often called the mastermind or the architect. They thrive on building structures, whether those structures are literal, like a business plan, or abstract, like a life strategy that spans decades. Despite this intense focus and clarity, the INTJ mind is not purely logical. There is a layer of deep, quiet emotion that runs beneath their rational surface. While they may appear detached, they hold strong values and can feel deeply about the things and people that matter to them. They simply choose to protect these feelings, revealing them only to those who have earned a place in their inner circle. Trust is sacred to an INTJ, and because they do not easily open up, the rare relationships they form are marked by profound loyalty and intensity. The inner life of an INTJ is also shaped by an unrelenting pursuit of growth and mastery. They are naturally drawn to knowledge, not for the sake of trivia, but to improve systems, create solutions, and turn visions into reality. Whether they are reading a book, studying a process, or quietly observing human behavior, every experience is fuel for their ever-evolving mental framework. An INTJ does not simply see the world as it is. They see the world as it could be. This forward-thinking perspective is both a gift and a burden. It allows them to dream big and execute ambitious plans, but it also means they often feel out of place in environments that value tradition over innovation or emotion over reason. For many INTJs, life can feel like a game of chess played on multiple boards at once. They are always thinking several moves ahead, evaluating the long-term impact of every decision. This strategic mindset makes them excellent leaders, problem solvers, and visionaries. Yet it can also create challenges, as their natural intensity may intimidate others who are more spontaneous or emotionally driven. People sometimes misread the INTJ's focus as arrogance or coldness, unaware that beneath the composed exterior lies a mind deeply committed to purpose and progress. Inside an INTJ mind, solitude is not loneliness, it is power. They recharge and realign in quiet moments, away from the chaos of social expectations. Their best ideas often emerge in these stretches of solitude, where they can let their thoughts wander without interruption. It is in this silence that their intuition sharpens, their visions crystallize, and their confidence in their path strengthens. This is why INTJs often appear to move through life with a sense of inevitability. They have already lived their plans 1,000 times in their minds before the world ever sees them unfold. To truly understand an INTJ is to understand a person who lives in two worlds at once, the present moment and the vision of the future they are building. They are both the dreamer and the executor, the visionary and the strategist. Inside their mind is a quiet storm of brilliance and intention, always moving toward a horizon that only they can see. And it is this combination of depth, foresight, and determination that makes the INTJ personality not only rare but extraordinary. The mind of an INTJ is often compared to a vast, intricate library. Every experience, observation, and lesson they encounter is filed away in careful order, ready to be retrieved at the precise moment it becomes useful. When someone casually speaks to an INTJ, they may assume the quiet demeanor signals disinterest, but in truth, the INTJ is cataloging every word, tone, and expression, processing information in layers. They rarely react in the moment because their thoughts are busy arranging each piece of input into a larger pattern, considering not just what was said, but why it was said and what it might mean in the long term. An INTJ lives in a world of underlying meanings. Where others see the surface of things, the INTJ instinctively peers beneath. A casual gesture can reveal hidden motives. A simple event can trigger a chain of predictive reasoning about the future. This tendency often makes them appear like they can see through people, which can be unsettling to those who are unaccustomed to such penetrating insight. INTJs are not easily fooled, and they rarely waste time on appearances when they can grasp the substance behind them. This natural ability to see patterns and anticipate outcomes grants INTJs an extraordinary sense of foresight. Many describe it as a kind of quiet certainty about the future, They can look at a complex system, a business structure, a social dynamic, or even the trajectory of their own life, and envision how it will unfold if left unchecked. This is why INTJs are often drawn to roles that allow them to design, plan, and execute big-picture strategies. To them, life is not a series of random events, but a structured game where every move either brings you closer to your vision or further away from it. However, this mental prowess can also become a source of internal conflict. While their intuition and logic guide them well, INTJs can become frustrated when the world refuses to align with their expectations or pace. They often live mentally in the future, and when the present feels slow, inefficient, or disorganized, they can grow impatient or detached. This tendency sometimes leads to the feeling of being out of step with society. Many INTJs report that they have felt different since childhood, more observant, more cautious, and far more future-focused than their peers. Within this highly structured mind lies an emotional core that is rarely visible to the world. INTJs are deeply private individuals, and their emotions are like treasures kept in a locked vault. They feel things intensely, but their instinct is to protect their inner world rather than broadcast it. They will go to great lengths to maintain composure, even during moments of profound joy or deep pain. This is not because they lack emotions, but because vulnerability does not come naturally to them. To expose their inner feelings requires trust, and trust is earned through consistency, authenticity, and loyalty. Once an INTJ decides to trust someone with their heart or their ideas, the connection is unshakable. But until that trust is secured, their emotional landscape remains hidden from view. Another defining aspect of the INTJ mind is its relationship with solitude. Where many personalities fear being alone, the INTJ craves it. Solitude is the workshop of their creativity and the sanctuary of their mental clarity. It is in these moments of isolation that INTJs construct their grand visions, solve their most complex problems, and realign themselves with their purpose. Time alone is not an escape for an INTJ. It is a return of power. Without it, the noise of the world can feel overwhelming, and their ability to strategize and innovate begins to falter. Yet, the solitude that feeds the INTJ's brilliance can also deepen their sense of otherness. They watch the world moving on with its endless chatter, fleeting dramas, and shallow distractions, and often feel like silent observers rather than participants. This detachment is both a shield and a weakness. It protects their focus, but it can also lead to misunderstandings, as others may assume they are cold or uninterested. In truth, an INTJ cares deeply, but selectively. Their emotional energy is not scattered everywhere. It is reserved for the people, projects, and visions that truly matter. In professional and personal settings, the INTJ mind functions like a precision instrument. When faced with a challenge, they instinctively analyze every angle, mapping out potential risks and rewards before committing to action. While others rely on trial and error, INTJs prefer to refine their strategies internally until they are certain of success. This calculated approach often makes them appear decisive and competent, but it also means they are slow to act on ventures that feel unproven or chaotic. They will watch, study, and prepare silently, and then execute their plans with startling efficiency, often leaving others wondering how they achieved results so quickly. Inside the INTJ mind is a relentless pursuit of mastery. They are rarely satisfied with mediocrity or half measures. If an INTJ takes on a project, whether it's learning a new skill, building a business, or understanding a complex concept, they approach it with a determination to achieve excellence. This relentless drive stems not from a desire for external validation, but from an internal standard that refuses to accept anything less than the best they can give. This inner world is both the engine of the INTJ's greatness and the source of their greatest struggles. It is a place of vision, clarity, and purpose, but also a fortress that can isolate them from the warmth of human connection. To step into the mind of an INTJ is to enter a realm of quiet storms, where intuition and logic work together to build futures long before the present catches up. It is this rare combination of foresight, determination, and emotional depth that makes the INTJ one of the most powerful and enigmatic personality types in existence. Chapter 2. The Strengths and Superpowers of INTJs. The INTJ personality is like a hidden engine quietly driving change behind the scenes of history. While they may not always be the loudest voice in the room or the most socially visible, their strengths are profound and transformative. Their lives are powered by rare qualities that allow them to envision futures others cannot see, solve problems that leave others perplexed, and achieve goals that many would consider impossible. To understand the true power of the INTJ, we must step into the forces that make them uniquely equipped to shape the world around them. One of the most remarkable strengths of an INTJ lies in their visionary thinking. Where others often focus on what is immediate and tangible, INTJs are naturally drawn to the abstract possibilities that lie beyond the horizon. Their minds are wired to detect patterns and anticipate outcomes long before they become obvious. This capacity allows them to look at a current situation and foresee its likely trajectory, almost as though they are watching a film of the future play out in their heads. It is this gift that makes INTJs natural architects of long-term strategies, whether in business, personal development, or creative endeavors. They do not just think about what is, they think about what could be, and this forward-thinking mindset gives them an incredible advantage in a world driven by change. Equally significant is their ability to execute with precision once a vision is formed. Many people dream, but the INTJ's strength lies in their rare ability to turn visions into reality. Their logical, strategic minds break big ideas into structured, actionable steps, and they pursue these steps with relentless determination. Once an INTJ sets their sights on a goal, they commit fully, moving with a combination of patience and focus that makes them extraordinarily effective. This is why INTJs are often the quiet achievers whose work speaks louder than their words. By the time others begin to notice their efforts, the INTJ has often already built a structure of success that seems to appear out of nowhere. Another superpower of the INTJ is their independence. INTJs are not swayed easily by trends, peer pressure, or the shifting winds of public opinion. Their self-reliance allows them to make decisions based on their own reasoning and inner convictions rather than external validation. This independence is both a shield and a weapon. It shields them from distraction and noise, allowing them to stay focused on their goals, and it becomes a weapon when they must take bold steps that others would hesitate to make. While many personalities feel the need for constant reassurance, an INTJ finds strength in their own clarity of mind. This independence often allows them to rise in fields where innovation, courage, and conviction are required. The INTJ's strategic mind also makes them extraordinary problem solvers. Challenges that overwhelm or confuse others often appear to an INTJ as complex puzzles waiting to be solved. They instinctively break problems into smaller pieces, identify patterns, and devise solutions that are both efficient and sustainable. This approach to problem solving is rarely impulsive. An INTJ would rather spend days, or even weeks, thinking through the best approach than rush into action without a clear plan. Their methodical style ensures that when they act, their solutions are not only effective but often elegant in their simplicity. This gift for problem solving is one reason why INTJs are drawn to roles in leadership, strategy, technology, and innovation. A less visible but equally powerful strength is their emotional resilience. Although INTJs may not openly display their feelings, they possess an inner core of strength that allows them to weather life's storms without losing their focus. Their rational approach to challenges enables them to step back, assess the situation, and move forward with a plan, rather than being consumed by panic or despair. This does not mean they are immune to emotional pain or stress. Far from it. But their ability to compartmentalize and analyze difficulties often allows them to emerge stronger and wiser from every experience. This quiet resilience is one of the reasons INTJs can take on ambitious projects or life paths that others might shy away from. Another subtle yet extraordinary superpower of the INTJ lies in their selective but profound loyalty. While they may appear detached in social settings, INTJs form deep, enduring bonds with those who earn their trust. They do not give their loyalty lightly, but once committed, they stand as unshakable allies. This makes their relationships rare and valuable, both personally and professionally. People who gain an INTJ's trust quickly learn that beneath the quiet exterior lies a heart that is fiercely protective and steadfast. This loyalty also extends to their vision and values. When an INTJ believes in a purpose, they will pursue it with a level of devotion and consistency that is difficult to rival. INTJs also possess an extraordinary ability to improve systems and environments. They have a natural instinct to analyze inefficiencies, identify weak points, and create better solutions. Whether in their personal life or in a professional setting, they are constantly refining, optimizing, and elevating the spaces and processes around them. This constant pursuit of excellence often inspires others, even if the INTJ themselves remains in the background. Their presence tends to transform teams, workplaces, and projects, leaving behind an invisible signature of order and improvement. Perhaps one of the most defining superpowers of the INTJ is their patience for long-term achievement. They are not easily seduced by shortcuts or distracted by immediate gratification. Instead, they operate with a deep understanding that true success often takes time, discipline, and consistency. This ability to endure the long game allows them to accomplish things that many abandon halfway. In their quiet, methodical way, INTJs build futures brick by brick, and when the results finally appear, the impact is undeniable. The strengths and superpowers of the INTJ often operate in silence, but their effects are far-reaching. They are the visionaries who can see the road ahead, the architects who can design the bridge to cross it, and the builders who will see the project through to completion. Their power is not always loud, but it is lasting. To recognize an INTJ is to see a person who carries the rare combination of foresight, intelligence, and perseverance. A person capable of shaping their own destiny and influencing the world in ways that are both subtle and profound. Beyond their visionary minds and unyielding determination, INTJs possess a subtle aura of authority that is rarely imposed but naturally felt. They do not need to shout to command respect, nor do they need to engage in endless self-promotion. Their confidence emerges from an internal clarity that others instinctively recognize. When an INTJ speaks, their words often carry weight because they have already done the mental work long before speaking. Their thoughts are measured, their observations precise, and their insights often reveal layers of understanding that others have overlooked. This quiet authority makes them highly influential in environments where competence and foresight matter more than charisma. Another often overlooked strength is the INTJ's ability to adapt their strategies in the face of change. While they prefer structured, well-planned paths, they're not rigid thinkers. Once an INTJ understands that a variable has shifted, they quickly adjust their plan to accommodate the new reality. This flexibility is not chaotic or reactive. It is calculated. INTJs treat life like a grand chessboard, and when a piece moves unexpectedly, they do not panic. They simply reassess the board and create a new sequence of moves. This strategic adaptability is one reason they excel in fields like technology, research, entrepreneurship, and crisis management, where rapid but intelligent adaptation is key. INTJs also hold a superpower in their ability to remain calm under pressure. Their internal thought processes are rarely clouded by panic or impulsive emotion, and this composure becomes a beacon for others during chaotic times. In moments when the world seems to unravel, an INTJ is often the quiet figure in the room, assessing the situation, gathering facts, and formulating a plan that restores order. People are naturally drawn to this calm because it exudes stability, and many rely on the INTJ's ability to see the path forward when fear blinds others. Another key strength is their ability to filter information and focus on what truly matters. In an age of constant distractions, the INTJ's natural talent for deep focus is almost a superhuman skill. They can immerse themselves in a project, research, or vision with an intensity that shuts out the noise of the world. This is why INTJs often achieve mastery in highly complex or specialized fields. They are willing and able to dedicate the time and attention that others cannot sustain. This single-minded focus is one of the core engines of their success, enabling them to accomplish feats that demand both intellectual rigor and persistence. In relationships, this depth of focus and commitment translates into a rare and profound presence. While INTJs are not known for overt displays of affection or social energy, when they choose to invest in someone, that investment is complete. They remember the small details, notice subtle emotional cues, and offer unwavering loyalty. They may not flood someone with constant attention, but their dedication is a slow-burning flame that never wavers. Those fortunate enough to earn an INTJ's trust quickly discover that their loyalty is not casual. It is protective, enduring, and deeply rooted in integrity. Creativity is another underestimated strength of the INTJ. While they are often associated with logic and structure, their creativity manifests in the way they connect ideas, build systems, and innovate solutions. It is a creativity that is often practical, problem-focused, and transformative rather than flamboyant. INTJs can envision things that do not yet exist, and they have the discipline to bring those visions to life. This is the kind of creativity that designs new technologies, writes groundbreaking strategies, and even shapes cultural movements from behind the scenes. Perhaps one of the most fascinating INTJ superpowers is their ability to thrive in solitude. While many personalities feel drained or anxious when alone, solitude is the INTJ sanctuary. It is in this quiet space that their minds roam freely, connecting distant ideas, generating solutions, and recalibrating their emotional and intellectual energy. Alone, an INTJ does not feel empty. They feel powerful. This self-sufficiency is a strength that not only fuels their personal growth, but also protects them from the emotional volatility of social dynamics. All these strengths combine to form the foundation of the INTJ's life trajectory. They are the master planners, the builders of ideas, the silent shapers of destiny. They do not always seek the spotlight, yet their influence often lingers long after their work is done. They change systems, optimize processes, inspire quiet revolutions, and leave the world better than they found it. Their superpowers are not always loud, but they are lasting, like deep roots that hold the forest in place even through the fiercest storms. Chapter 3. The Silent Struggles and Hidden Challenges of INTJs. Behind the calm composure and strategic brilliance of the INTJ lies a world that is rarely seen by others. While they often appear confident, independent, and unshakable, they navigate a life filled with silent struggles that are deeply personal and sometimes isolating. These challenges are not always visible to the outside world because INTJs have a natural tendency to internalize their battles, analyze them privately, and keep their vulnerabilities hidden. But beneath that self-sufficient exterior exists a delicate tension between their aspirations and the reality of human experience. One of the most profound struggles of the INTJ is their lifelong sense of being different. From an early age, many INTJs feel slightly out of sync with the world around them. While others are preoccupied with trends, social games, and immediate gratification, INTJs are often lost in thought, analyzing ideas, or envisioning futures that no one else seems to notice. This internal dissonance can leave them feeling like outsiders, even in familiar environments. They may walk through life with a quiet awareness that they think differently, prioritize differently, and see life through a lens that sets them apart. This sense of separateness can become a lonely burden, especially when they long for understanding, but rarely find people who can truly meet them on the same wavelength. INTJs also struggle with perfectionism, a trait that is both a strength and a hidden source of stress. Their high standards and relentless drive for improvement often push them to achieve remarkable things. But internally, the bar they set for themselves can be punishing. They are rarely satisfied with good enough. A project may be complete, a goal may be reached, but the INTJ mind will still dissect every flaw, every missed opportunity for optimization, and every step that could have been done better. This self-imposed pressure can lead to burnout and moments of quiet frustration, where the INTJ feels that no matter how much they achieve, it is never quite enough. Another challenge lies in their relationship with emotions, their own and those of others. INTJs are often more comfortable navigating the landscape of logic and strategy than the unpredictable terrain of human feelings. While they are not devoid of emotion, they process it internally and often find it difficult to express in ways that others expect or understand. This can create misunderstandings in relationships. Loved ones may mistake their calm or analytical approach as indifference, when in truth, the INTJ feels deeply but struggles to translate those emotions into outward gestures. Conversely, when confronted with intense emotional expressions from others, they may feel overwhelmed, retreating into silence or detachment as a way of coping. This emotional gap can be a silent source of tension in both personal and professional connections. Trust, for an INTJ, is another quiet battlefield. They are naturally cautious and slow to let people into their inner world. While this selective trust protects them from betrayal or disappointment, it also leaves them vulnerable to isolation. INTJs often carry a small circle of confidants, but until that trust is earned, they may come across as distant or guarded. When trust is broken, the impact is profound. Unlike some personalities who can forgive easily, INTJs struggle to reopen the same emotional doors, and this can lead to a lifetime of quietly held scars that others never see. Social expectations present another layer of difficulty for INTJs. In a world that often rewards extroversion, quick connections, and emotional availability, the INTJ's reserved nature can become a silent disadvantage. They may feel out of place in environments that demand constant social engagement or emotional transparency. Networking events, casual small talk, and social politics can feel draining and unnatural. Yet, they often recognize that these interactions are necessary for progress in certain areas of life, forcing them to navigate a world that does not always accommodate their introverted, strategic rhythm. This internal conflict between authenticity and adaptation can be exhausting, leaving them longing for spaces where they can simply exist without pretense. Another struggle that INTJs rarely voice is their difficulty in accepting failure or wasted potential. Because they are so future-focused and strategic, setbacks can feel deeply personal. An unexpected failure does not just represent a lost opportunity. It can trigger a cycle of self-critique as the INTJ replays every decision to identify what went wrong. Their analytical minds are relentless, and while this process can lead to valuable lessons, it can also create a heaviness that lingers long after the world has moved on. In private, INTJs can be far harsher on themselves than they ever are on others. Perhaps the most hidden challenge of the INTJ is their quiet emotional fatigue from carrying the weight of being their own anchor. Because they are so self-reliant, others often assume they need no help, no encouragement, and no emotional support. People may rely on them for guidance and solutions without realizing that the INTJ, too, has moments of doubt, exhaustion, and vulnerability. This lack of visible support can leave them feeling unseen, as if the world only values what they produce and rarely pauses to consider the person behind the achievements. Despite these struggles, INTJs rarely allow their challenges to define them. Instead, they carry their battles with dignity and often convert their pain into fuel for growth. Their hidden struggles deepen their resilience, sharpen their insight, and forge a quiet strength that allows them to keep moving forward. Yet, these challenges remind us that beneath the composed exterior of an INTJ lies a human heart, longing for understanding, connection, and the rare comfort of being fully seen. The struggle of living in a world that rarely mirrors their thoughts is something INTJs often face in silence. Their minds are like vast, private landscapes filled with carefully constructed ideas, long-term visions, and intricate problem-solving pathways. Yet, when they try to share these thoughts with others, they often meet blank stares or disinterest. This disconnect can be disheartening, making them retreat further into their own world where ideas are safe from misinterpretation. Over time, this isolation can lead to a subtle ache, a quiet longing for someone who not only hears them, but truly understands the depth of their mind. Another layer of struggle comes from their need for control and predictability. INTJs thrive when they can foresee outcomes and plan accordingly. Life, however, is full of variables that cannot be calculated. Sudden changes, emotional turbulence, or chaotic environments can leave them feeling internally rattled, even if they maintain a composed exterior. They are the type to silently strategize their way out of uncertainty, but the internal stress is real. In moments of uncontrollable change, INTJs may retreat into overthinking, analyzing scenarios endlessly in search of stability. There is also an unspoken burden in the way INTJs carry responsibility. Whether in professional settings, friendships, or family life, they often step into the role of the planner, the fixer, or the problem solver because others naturally gravitate to their competence. While they can fulfill these roles with excellence, the emotional weight of always being the one who figures things out can become exhausting. They rarely ask for help, and people seldom think to offer it, leaving them to quietly shoulder responsibilities that can drain their energy over time. INTJs also experience an internal tug-of-war between their desire for independence and their human need for connection. They value solitude and rely on it for clarity, but deep down, they also yearn for meaningful relationships where they can drop their guard. This paradox creates a quiet tension in their lives. They may withdraw to protect their energy, but prolonged isolation can feed their loneliness. When they finally seek connection, it is often with a cautious heart, and if that connection is shallow or fleeting, it reinforces their sense that true understanding is rare and precious. Emotional vulnerability is another silent battleground. INTJs are highly private about their feelings because they fear misinterpretation or rejection. When they do open up, it is an act of profound trust. Yet even then, their emotional language may come across as understated or detached to others. A deep "I care" might come in the form of practical help or thoughtful advice rather than grand displays of affection. When this love language is misunderstood or unreciprocated, the INTJ retreats further into emotional self-sufficiency, silently resolving to protect themselves from future disappointment. There is also the challenge of living in a society that often prioritizes speed over depth. INTJs are wired for thoroughness. They want to understand the root cause, master the skill, and execute with excellence. Yet, the world often rewards surface-level results and instant gratification. This mismatch can make INTJs feel underappreciated, as if their efforts to craft something meaningful and lasting are overlooked in favor of louder, flashier, but shallower pursuits. Over time, this can feed a quiet sense of alienation, reinforcing the feeling that they're walking a path few others even notice. Perhaps one of the most emotionally taxing struggles of the INTJ is the weight of unspoken expectations. Because they are competent and strategic, the world often expects them to excel without faltering. Colleagues, friends, and even family may assume that the INTJ always has it together, always knows the next move, and always lands on their feet. But the truth is, INTJs have moments of doubt and exhaustion, just like anyone else. The difference is that they rarely show it. They suffer their moments of uncertainty in silence, convincing themselves they must rise alone because that is what is expected of them. Yet, beneath all these struggles lies the quiet resilience of the INTJ spirit. Every challenge, every silent battle, every moment of misunderstood solitude adds depth to their character. They emerge from their private storms sharper, stronger, and more self-aware. Though the world may never fully see the weight they carry, their struggles refine the inner steel that allows them to face life with unwavering determination. Their challenges are the hidden forge of their greatness, shaping them into individuals who can stand strong even when unseen, unheard, and uncelebrated. Chapter 4. Mastering Relationships and Connections as an INTJ. For INTJs, relationships are often like a carefully tended garden, selective, intentional, and nurtured with quiet dedication. Unlike many who thrive on constant social interactions or casual connections, INTJs seek depth over breadth. They are not interested in filling their lives with countless acquaintances or fleeting friendships. Instead, they focus on cultivating relationships that resonate with meaning and authenticity. For them, human connection is not about quantity. It is about the rare comfort of being truly understood. In the early stages of any relationship, whether romantic, platonic, or professional, INTJs tend to observe more than they engage. They analyze the dynamics, patterns, and intentions of others before opening themselves up. This cautious approach stems from both their strategic nature and their deep need for trust. They are acutely aware of the energy it takes to invest in a relationship, and they do not offer that energy lightly. While this reserve may sometimes be misinterpreted as aloofness, it is, in truth, an act of discernment. They are scanning for authenticity, consistency, and alignment of values, because they would rather invest fully in a few meaningful connections than scatter their energy among many. When an INTJ does allow someone into their inner world, that bond is profound. They do not form attachments carelessly. Once they commit to a relationship, they are all in. Their loyalty runs deep, and their commitment is often unwavering. Friends and partners of INTJs soon discover that while they may not always express affection in the most conventional ways, their love and dedication are evident in their actions. An INTJ shows care by solving problems, creating security, and quietly anticipating needs. They are the partner who remembers small details, the friend who notices patterns in your life, and the colleague who finds solutions before a crisis even occurs. Yet, this depth of loyalty comes with its own set of challenges. Because they invest so deeply, INTJs have little tolerance for betrayal, dishonesty, or emotional games. They are not quick to anger, but when trust is broken, the emotional cut is deep. Unlike personalities that forgive and reconnect easily, INTJs withdraw to protect themselves, often closing the door permanently on a relationship that has violated their sense of integrity. This protective instinct is part of why they are so selective from the start. They know that when they give their heart or trust, it is a profound and vulnerable act. Romantic relationships with INTJs are a journey into subtlety and depth rather than flamboyant displays of affection. They are unlikely to shower their partners with constant verbal declarations, but their love is steady, reliable, and deeply felt. They thrive in partnerships where both individuals respect each other's independence, share intellectual curiosity, and value mutual growth. INTJs are often drawn to partners who can engage them in stimulating conversations and who understand their need for both closeness and space. They flourish in relationships where emotions are expressed sincerely, but without unnecessary drama, as they find emotional turbulence draining and destabilizing. In friendships, INTJs gravitate toward people who are genuine and self-sufficient. They are not drawn to the constant need for reassurance or social maintenance. Instead, they appreciate friends who understand that connection does not always require daily interaction. Their ideal friendships are those where two people can reconnect after weeks or months and pick up as if no time has passed. These relationships are often long-lasting because they are built on mutual respect rather than constant validation. For the few friends who break through their introverted armor, INTJs can be surprisingly warm, witty, and protective, offering a kind of loyalty that feels rare in today's transient social culture. Professional connections also reflect the INTJ's unique relationship style. They prefer work environments where respect is earned through competence rather than charm. They thrive when collaborating with individuals who are goal-oriented, reliable, and independent. Office politics, shallow networking, and unnecessary social rituals can feel like an exhausting performance to them. However, when surrounded by people who value results and integrity, INTJs can become indispensable team members and even quiet leaders, often guiding projects to success without needing to occupy the spotlight. One of the most unique aspects of INTJ relationships is their ability to create a deep sense of security for those they care about. Their strategic foresight and measured decision-making naturally extend to their loved ones. They are the planners, the protectors, the ones who think 3 steps ahead to shield the people they value from potential harm or disappointment. To be loved by an INTJ is to be part of a carefully considered inner circle where your well-being is quietly safeguarded. Still, INTJs face certain relational struggles. Their independence and need for solitude can sometimes be misunderstood as disinterest. They require partners and friends who do not take their need for space personally, as solitude is not a withdrawal of love, but a restoration of energy. They may also struggle to express emotions in ways that feel satisfying to more demonstrative personalities. The INTJ heart beats deeply, but it often speaks in actions rather than words. Learning to communicate in a way that bridges this emotional gap is one of the lifelong lessons they face in relationships. INTJs approach human connection with the same intentionality they bring to every other part of their lives. They seek relationships that are stable, meaningful, and growth-oriented. They thrive when surrounded by people who value authenticity, respect boundaries, and understand that loyalty is not loud but enduring. For those who earn their trust and enter their inner world, the experience is one of quiet yet profound intimacy, a bond built not on fleeting excitement, but on the solid foundation of understanding, loyalty, and shared purpose. While INTJs are known for their independence and intellectual depth, the emotional side of their relationships is often far richer than it appears on the surface. Many people assume that because INTJs are reserved, they are emotionally distant. In truth, their emotions run deep, but they are like still waters, calm on the surface, yet profound underneath. For an INTJ, emotional intimacy is sacred. They do not give their heart casually, and once they do, the connection carries a weight that is not easily broken. In romantic relationships, this depth often shows in subtle ways rather than grand gestures. An INTJ might quietly analyze their partner's habits and preferences, remembering every small detail that makes them feel seen and valued. They may prepare for future moments of support before they even arise, anticipating needs that have not yet been voiced. To their partner, this can feel like a form of love that is both protective and strategic. Unlike more demonstrative personalities, INTJs do not always declare love with words. They declare it through loyalty, thoughtfulness, and a silent promise that they are a constant presence. However, this depth also means that breakups or betrayals hit INTJs harder than most people realize. They might not display their grief publicly, but internally, they process every layer of the emotional wound. For them, the loss of trust is not a temporary discomfort. It is a fracture in the foundation of what they believe to be unshakable. It can take an INTJ a long time to let go of that pain, not because they are bitter, but because they gave something rare and deliberate that cannot easily be reclaimed. Friendships with INTJs carry similar weight. They prefer a small circle of companions who genuinely understand them rather than a large network of superficial connections. Their ideal friends are those who respect their independence, understand their need for space, and share their value for growth and authenticity. With these select few, INTJs can be surprisingly witty, expressive, and even playful. They might share inside jokes, intellectual debates, or quiet moments of shared creativity. While the world might see them as stoic and serious, their closest friends witness a version of them that is both warm and deeply loyal. Professional relationships are often the most misunderstood aspect of an INTJ's social life. They are not motivated by the politics or social games that often dominate workplaces. They prefer efficiency, competence, and clarity. They will respect and even admire colleagues who can hold their own, contribute intelligently, and maintain integrity. However, if surrounded by disorganization or insincerity, INTJs can withdraw or become quietly critical, choosing to focus solely on achieving results rather than navigating the social fabric. Ironically, even in their quiet withdrawal, they are often relied upon because their competence is hard to replace. There is also an almost paradoxical aspect to how INTJs relate to the people they love. On one hand, they require periods of isolation to recharge and think clearly. On the other hand, the few people they allow close are so integral to their inner world that their absence can leave a profound void. This tension between independence and intimacy is the constant balancing act of an INTJ's relational life. The people who understand this paradox, those who give them space without withdrawing love, are the ones who remain in their lives the longest. In love and friendship alike, INTJs often serve as the quiet anchor. Their partners and friends may not always realize it, but the INTJ's strategic mind is constantly thinking ahead, protecting the relationship from unseen challenges and preparing solutions for future problems. This makes others feel secure in their presence, even if they cannot fully articulate why. To be in the circle of an INTJ is to feel a subtle but profound safety, the assurance that someone has thought of the details you never considered. However, maintaining relationships is not without effort for INTJs. Their selective nature and intense focus on personal goals can sometimes unintentionally make others feel neglected. They may immerse themselves so fully in their work, hobbies, or inner reflections that they forget to actively express affection. To loved ones who thrive on visible displays of care, this can create misunderstanding or emotional distance. Learning to consciously express appreciation, even in small ways, is one of the relational skills that helps INTJs maintain lasting bonds. Another challenge lies in vulnerability. INTJs fear giving away too much of their emotional core to the wrong person. They have often seen how carelessness with the heart can lead to manipulation, betrayal, or disappointment. As a result, even when they crave emotional intimacy, they test others with time, consistency, and observation. Those who pass this unspoken test are rewarded with the rare experience of witnessing the INTJ's full emotional depth, a bond that is not only intimate but enduring. INTJs thrive in relationships where understanding runs deeper than words. They are drawn to people who value quiet loyalty over constant attention, growth over stagnation, and truth over pretense. Their relationships may be few, but they are built to last a lifetime. To love or be loved by an INTJ is to experience connection as a profound, unspoken promise, steady, resilient, and quietly life-changing. Chapter 5. Unlocking the full potential of an INTJ. Every INTJ carries within them the blueprint of a life that can be extraordinary. Their minds are naturally drawn to mastery, strategy, and innovation. They are visionaries in quiet motion, often thinking years ahead of their peers. But unlocking the full potential of an INTJ requires more than intelligence and strategy. It requires self-awareness, emotional balance, and the courage to step beyond the safety of their inner world. The first step toward realizing their potential lies in the full embrace of their unique identity. Too often, INTJs grow up feeling misunderstood, out of place, or even alienated by their differences. Their introspective nature and preference for solitude can clash with a world that celebrates constant interaction and external validation. Many INTJs have spent years suppressing their natural instincts to fit in with societal expectations, only to find themselves drained and unfulfilled. True growth begins when they stop apologizing for who they are and recognize their introversion, independence, and strategic thinking not as flaws, but as gifts. Once an INTJ fully embraces their natural strengths, life transforms into a series of calculated, yet liberating moves. Their ability to analyze complex systems, identify inefficiencies, and craft solutions makes them natural problem solvers and innovators. Whether they are building a business, pursuing a career in science, or creating a work of art that challenges convention, they excel when they have the freedom to execute their vision without unnecessary interference. The world often underestimates how much an INTJ can accomplish in solitude, for it is in quiet focus that they create their most transformative work. Yet, the journey toward unlocking potential is not purely intellectual. Emotional mastery plays a crucial role. For all their intelligence and foresight, INTJs can be slowed down by self-doubt, perfectionism, and the weight of their own expectations. They may hesitate to take bold steps if the outcome feels uncertain or if the risk of failure looms too large. To fully thrive, they must learn to embrace calculated risks and understand that failure is not the end of their vision, but a stepping stone toward refinement. True mastery is not achieved through avoidance of mistakes, but through the courage to adapt and evolve. Another key to unlocking their potential lies in the realm of human connection. While INTJs are naturally independent, they reach new heights when they learn to integrate their inner world with meaningful external relationships. Mentors, collaborators, and trusted companions can act as catalysts for growth, offering perspectives the INTJ might overlook in isolation. By selectively inviting the right people into their life, They create an ecosystem of support and inspiration that strengthens their ability to execute their long-term vision. INTJs also thrive when they channel their energy toward pursuits that align with a deeper sense of purpose. Their drive is rarely fueled by shallow rewards or fleeting recognition. They are at their best when they are building something that matters, something that outlives their immediate effort. Whether it is pioneering a new idea, mentoring the next generation, or creating systems that improve lives, they are most fulfilled when their work leaves a tangible impact on the world. Purpose transforms their focus into a force that is not only disciplined, but also resilient. Another aspect of reaching their potential involves learning to balance solitude with engagement. INTJs are naturally drawn to introspection and the sanctuary of their private world, yet the external world is where their visions come to life. Too much isolation can lead to stagnation or overthinking, while intentional engagement allows their ideas to shape reality. The key lies in creating rhythms of solitude and action, allowing periods of deep focus to alternate with moments of outward execution. Mastery for an INTJ also requires a willingness to evolve beyond comfort zones. They are often creatures of precision and planning, preferring to act only when every variable is accounted for. But life rarely offers such certainty. The greatest leaps in an INTJ's life often come when they embrace opportunities that demand flexibility and improvisation. By stepping into environments that challenge their usual patterns, they expand their capabilities and sharpen their adaptability, which transforms them from silent planners into quiet forces of influence. At the heart of their potential is a life of intentionality. INTJs do not thrive in chaos, but in the deliberate crafting of a path that reflects their values and ambitions. They understand that time is a finite resource, and they approach it with a seriousness that many find intimidating. They excel when they cut away distractions, set clear priorities, and commit fully to the pursuit of excellence. Their ability to visualize the end goal while patiently working through the process allows them to achieve what others might abandon midway. When an INTJ steps into their full potential, they become a figure of quiet but profound influence. They are the innovators who create systems that outlast them, the strategists who solve problems that others cannot even see, and the visionaries who inspire change not through noise but through results. Their legacy is rarely flamboyant, but it is enduring. They leave behind a world subtly but powerfully altered by their presence, a testament to the mastery that comes from living in alignment with both intellect and purpose. Unlocking the full potential of an INTJ is not about becoming someone different. It is about becoming fully themselves. It is the journey of embracing solitude without isolation, ambition without rigidity, and intellect without emotional detachment. When an INTJ aligns their vision with courage and their strategy with action, they step into the life they were designed to live, a life of precision, purpose, and quiet power that leaves an indelible mark on the world. When an INTJ reaches the point where intellect, purpose, and emotional intelligence align, their presence in the world begins to shift from quiet potential to undeniable influence. This stage of life often feels like the culmination of years of silent preparation, where the inner architect finally steps forward to construct something lasting. What was once merely a plan, a collection of private thoughts and visions, begins to take form in tangible achievements that ripple outward into the lives of others. One of the most profound aspects of unlocking an INTJ's potential lies in their ability to transform solitude into impact. Unlike many who feel restless or lonely when left alone, INTJs use solitude as a forge. It is in these silent hours that they conceptualize, organize, and refine ideas that often seem impossible to others. They do not just dream idly. Their minds are workshops of innovation, where every thought serves as a blueprint for something greater. The difference between an INTJ who remains in theory and one who steps into mastery is the decision to bring these inner blueprints to life, no matter how imperfect the first step might be. This transition from internal vision to external action often begins with a shift in mindset. INTJs must learn that perfection is an illusion and that impact is born from iteration. Too many ideas have died in the minds of brilliant INTJs because they feared the vulnerability of being seen before their work was flawless. The INTJs who reach the height of their potential are those who dare to present the world with a draft of their genius, knowing that refinement is part of the journey. They accept that failure is not a threat to their identity, but a tool for evolution. A fully realized INTJ also begins to recognize the quiet power of influence. They understand that leadership does not always require a stage or spotlight. Often, their most profound contributions happen behind the scenes, where systems are designed, problems are solved, and visions are set in motion without fanfare. They become the invisible architects of progress, guiding movements, organizations, or even entire communities without needing public recognition. And yet, those who work closest with them often describe their influence as life-changing because their presence instills clarity, confidence, and direction. Another dimension of an INTJ's potential lies in legacy. Unlike personalities that seek immediate gratification, INTJs are inherently drawn to what lasts. They often measure success not in applause, but in endurance, how long their work will remain relevant after they are gone. This is why they are naturally attracted to fields where the results of their effort can echo across time. Technology, research, architecture, strategy, writing, and systems building. They are the kind of individuals who would rather plant a forest that will grow for generations than gather a fleeting bouquet of flowers. Yet, true potential cannot exist in isolation from emotional evolution. The INTJ who achieves greatness without emotional depth risks building a life of accomplishment that feels hollow. This is why their journey toward fulfillment must include the conscious choice to allow others into their inner world. Love, friendship, mentorship, and community, when chosen intentionally, become the emotional infrastructure that supports their ambitions. Far from a distraction, these relationships provide the grounding that allows their vision to soar higher without toppling under the weight of loneliness or burnout. At the pinnacle of their potential, INTJs achieve a rare kind of harmony. Their mind remains the brilliant strategist it has always been, but is now guided by clarity of purpose rather than endless self-critique. Their actions are deliberate, their influence is precise, and their contributions are unmistakable. They become the kind of person who moves through life with a quiet confidence, knowing that they are leaving the world better than they found it. Perhaps the most remarkable transformation of an INTJ stepping fully into their potential is the peace that follows. After years of internal tension, of feeling misunderstood or out of step with the world, they finally occupy their place without apology. They are no longer concerned with chasing validation or conforming to expectations that do not serve them. Instead, they rise each day with the assurance that they are living in alignment with the vision they were born to manifest. This inner calm becomes their most magnetic quality, drawing opportunities and people that resonate with the life they have consciously designed. The fully realized INTJ does not simply achieve success, they redefine it. Their life becomes a testament to the power of intentional living, the beauty of deep focus, and the quiet strength of a person who trusted their inner compass, even when the world could not see where it was pointing. They leave behind more than achievements. They leave behind an enduring example of what it means to live authentically, purposefully, and with unshakable resolve.